In this section, we will learn about the promotion and tenure process for faculty members in the US. As we have learned before, tenure is a permanent academic appointment. Let us now take a look at a timeline of the tenure process. In the first step, universities hire tenure track candidates who show high potential in their academic field. These candidates are hired as assistant professors, and their tenure clock begins. The candidates are initially hired on a 3-year contract. During this time, they begin assembling a dossier of their achievements in teaching, research, and service. This dossier is scrutinized by faculty tenure committees to evaluate the candidate. Finally, after 6 to 7 years, after a final tenure review, candidates are informed if they will be granted tenure or not. Candidates granted tenure are immediately promoted to associate professor and are now considered tenured professors. Now, let us take a look at the tenure review process in detail. Based on their dossier, tenure candidates are evaluated on several levels, beginning with their home departments. Tenure committees evaluate the candidates and vote on whether to grant tenure or not. A report of the evaluation is also filed. At the school level, a similar process takes place. This time, the dean of the school also writes a substantive report with recommendations about the candidate. The candidate's file then goes to the university's Tenure Advisory Committee, who vote on approving or denying tenure. Finally, the candidate's file reaches the executive level of the university. A senior official, such as the Vice Provost for Faculty Affairs, writes a report based on the earlier recommendations. The file then reaches the President or Provost of the university for final approval. At state universities like Indiana University, the Board of Trustees of the university gives the final decision or approval for tenure. Tenure candidates must demonstrate excellence in one of 3 criteria: research and creative activity, service and engagement, or teaching. Research and creative activity is outlined by the candidate's scholarly publications, such as books and articles. Service and engagement is defined as a high level of contribution to community engagement at the national or international level, or to service to the university or academia. Teaching excellence can be demonstrated through teaching publications and awards, the candidate's teaching philosophy, peer reviews, and student assessments from courses taught. Lastly, let's look at some trends in tenured and non-tenured faculty members at public institutions in the US. This chart shows that on average, a majority of faculty in public universities is non-tenured, with around 42.8% of faculty being tenured or on the tenure track. At IU, however, a majority of faculty, over 55%, is tenured or on the tenure track. In recent years, there has been a clear trend towards hiring more non-tenured track faculty in the US. This allows universities to cut costs while instructors also have more flexibility in their jobs. There's also been a shift to more online instruction in recent years, increasing the demand for non-tenure track faculty. Hiring more non-tenure track faculty gives universities the advantage and flexibility to respond to budget constraints or changes in student interests and demands.